For all you PlayStation fanboys out there, you're trying to tell me that you guys are talking about the PlayStation 6 before the PlayStation 5 even got games? This by far has to be one of the worst console generations that I have ever experienced throughout my several years of gaming within this community. You gotta be kidding me.
DLSS and Pisser that looks better than native. So you can't sell me on that anymore. Well, instead of offering you 60 frames, we're going to offer you 120 frames.
Bro, you ain't even getting 60 frames per second on majority of your PlayStation games that don't happen to be last generation remasters and remakes, and now you ponies think you're going to get 120 frames per second games? Bro, the PS5 can't even do that with cross-generation titles. What makes you think they're going to do that with next-generation games on the PlayStation 6, bro? You see, you guys have been on that pony dust for far too long if you think the PlayStation 6 is going to do 120 frames, bro. Come on, bro.
Well, you kind of can't do that because the majority of the people don't have TVs, so 120 is not even it's not even the norm for the.
That's not true because you can pick up a 120 hertz TV quite easily. What are you talking about? The only thing that's really unheard of is an 8K because nothing really supports it. But you can't sit there and say that for 120 frames, man. What are you talking about?
They're going to have to sell me on something else, kind of maybe like a Nintendo, right?
How about games? How about Sony decide to sell their audience the concept of a PlayStation? You know, the whole purpose of a gaming console, whatever this fool's name is, on video games. Man, that's all you guys do, man. I mean, at this point, PlayStation fanboys ain't nothing but the PC gaming audience. Always talking about hardware, always talking about tech, but ain't none of these people talking about games.
You know how Nintendo? Yeah, we don't have the power. Yeah, we don't have online, but we're going to sell you on this, the gimmicks. You know, the gimmicks of...
Gimmicks? Nintendo Switch has gimmicks? Excuse me? The PlayStation VR 2? That's a gimmick. The PlayStation Portal? Now that's a gimmick. You know, when you're out here streaming your PlayStation games while Nintendo owners are playing their experiences natively. What is you talking about, bro? You hear this, fool?
That's what a Switch is, right?
The Switch is a gimmick, guys. You hear that? Oh, the Switch didn't succeed like it was supposed to. It didn't like the Wii. It was a gimmick. That's what it was. The Nintendo Switch did not really dominate Sony. It was all because of them gimmicks. Y'all out here sounding like Hercule from Dragon Ball Z talking about how Kakarot and Perfect Cell doing tricks. Get out of here with this, man. Oh, those tricks, man. You know, y'all sounding like Hercule from Dragon Ball Z. Oh, those are tricks, man. I can show Perfect Cell how it's really done. Look at all those tricks.
Makes it fun. Well, we'll sell you on these detachable controllers.
What about the games, bro? Where have you been?
That little rumble effect in it, the HD rumble.
I mean, the PlayStation 5 has, the impulsive triggers that they got that Microsoft gave credit to. What about that? Isn't that a gimmick? And yet people still don't want to buy your PlayStation 5 exclusives.
And we're going to sell you on
gimmicks.
This one, whatever.
You see that, Nintendo gamers? Don't sympathize with these Sony fanboy wannabes, bro. They don't like you. They don't like PC. They don't like Xbox. They just like Sony. Because there's times you'll hear these Nintendo gamers defending these ponies, and I sit there and tell them that they don't like you. Stop acting like these people. They don't care for you, bro. And they never did. This man's out here calling your machine a gimmick when you guys got way more games to play on your platform. And what's funny about this gimmick console, then explain to me how Nintendo has way more online experiences offered by themselves than Sony. Answer that question. More games, more hardware sales, more subscriptions. You tell me. Argue that right now, Mr. J Dub. I just remembered his name.
Buy it, right? They're going to have to sell us on something that is not part of something.
How about Sony sell us a console and offer us great games?
We've had the last 3 or 4 generations.
How hard is that?
My brother.
We're not even going to get 4K on most of these games, bro. GTA 6 is probably going to drop at like 900p, something of that nature, 30 frames per second. Bro, y'all never left last generation. What are you talking about, bro? The only reason as to why it was noticeable last generation, because Microsoft and Sony try to hit next generation out of the park. But all Sony is doing is stalling the inevitable, pushing these old games and remasters to essentially push this theory that it's powerful. Look at that. Forbidden West, PS4 running at 60 FPS 4K on the Pro when it's a PS4 game. You guys cannot tell me one next generation exclusive that runs 4K 60 frames per second, let alone 120 frames per second on the PS5. You people know this is asinine. Stop it, bro. Stop spreading this misinformation.
My brother. I had to ask you a question, bro. Yes, I'm not going to ask you. I'm not. So you say that they have to give us something different. Now, are we just talking about you?
I don't know. Maybe. I'll say this. You know what? Let's all go around the horn because that's a good question, right? I know it's far off, right? For me, we'll start with the tech style. To me, it's different phases. I think the first phase is obviously the tech because that's the candy. That's the eye candy. You got listen, like it or not, you gotta
Those people don't care, bro. See, what's funny that they used to sell people onto the concept of that this was a next generation console. But bro, people are playing Fortnite on their mobile phones. You don't need a powerful device to run a lot of these games that these people play. Fall Guys, the games that happen to be the most popular. You don't need a powerful console to do that. People can play on PS4 for 20 years as long as Fortnite is still supported on it. They don't care. It still runs at 60, still runs stable enough for these people to play it. And there you go. That's all it is, man. It's a low-demanding game, and they're making some high-demanding profits.
Eye candy.
Yes, exactly.
I can't. You hear this? Okay. Eye candy sells. Explain to me one instance to where eye candy sold people onto the PS5. Ain't because nobody ain't bought no PS5 for no groundbreaking graphical games that you got. Let's just be honest, bro. We already know what they're buying it for. For GTA 6, man, NBA 2K, they buying it for those games, but ain't nobody picking up a PS5 to look at God of War Ragnarok enhanced on a PS5 consoles. Nobody's doing that, bro.
It's the easiest thing to explain, right? So for me, PlayStation continue focusing on developing the PSSR. I would like more games to be at the ultra settings, the next level.
Not happening.
Ray tracing, path.
Not happening.
Tracing.
Not even on the Pro.
60 frames.
Not even. Oh, you want 60 frames per second? Okay. You heard what he just said. You heard. This is the problem with PlayStation. I would prefer if Sony would go to 30 FPS and bring us games like what Microsoft's doing. See, this is your problem. You want the PlayStation community. You heard what he said. And then you guys want to complain about these remasters and remakes. Okay? All right. Perfect. We're gonna break down this argument. You want more 60 frames per second games? Okay, more remasters and more remakes to come. That's all you're gonna get. If that's what you want, if you want some next generation games, they're gonna have to be capped at 30, like what Microsoft's doing. They have to, if you're gonna want more games. But if Sony knows that their audience wants this 60 frames per second craze, well, they're going to sit there and look at their old catalog and start remastering everything. And that's what Sony's been doing as of recently. You guys noticed this. So it's not even just me, speaking nonsense. You guys can see Sony doing it themselves.
Higher resolution, stuff like that, right? It's pretty much like this. I know people like to say, well, if you're worried about frames and this one, go to PC. And I'm thinking, to me, that's a cop-out. Why not demand consoles to bring...
Wow, how about you demand a console to actually bring out quality games for you people to play? Why won't you demand Sony to stop doing remasters and remakes and give us new ambitious sequels and projects?
Stuff the PC has. Like, don't run away.
Yeah.
Because...
See, PC gamers destroyed console gaming, and I'm going to explain to you as to how. They knew by inserting, we're playing these games at these certain settings was going to impact the console gaming landscape, and it has. They sat there, they're like playing Far Cry 3. They took all your games, and now they're off the zip line. Now they don't even care, bro. Now your system ain't nothing but a hollow shell, bro. It's a turtle without a turtle inside it. That's exactly what it's an abandoned turtle shell. That's what your PlayStation 5 is. It's hollow inside. It looks nice on the outside, but when you look in, there's nothing inside. That's what your PS5 is, man. And it's honestly sad to see that the PC gaming community has single-handedly destroyed console gaming for adamant gamers out there, because now you guys talk about hardware. You don't talk about quality games. You talk about how powerful your PS5 is, but guess what? Your PS5 will never be on par with what they got. And then on top of that, they got your games. What benefit you're getting from gaming on PlayStation?
I remember last gen when we
The
still.
only reason as to why I'm on consoles now is physical media. Once that is completely removed, I already know, guys, it's already heading that way anyway. But as soon as that concept of physical media is completely gone from these consoles, I'm done. I'm not buying a console no more. I'm not buying no PS6. I ain't buying no PlayStation 8. I'm not buying no Xbox Series XL. I'm not buying none of that. Once you decide to go digital only, I'm taking my behind the PC. Plain and simple.
Like on the PS4, when we used to complain about some of these games being locked at 30, no 60 frame options.
No, ain't nobody complain about that. What you talking about? Nobody complain about games playing at 30 frames per second. Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. You was capping. When all those games came out, God of War, Ghost, they all came out at 30 frames per second. Bloodborne, matter of fact, a game that you're looking forward to, a remaster and remake, came at 30 frames per second. Nobody complained. You guys only started complaining because the PS5 was getting remasters and remakes and you had nothing else to cap for. So instead of you guys saying, oh, we don't got no next generation games like Xbox, we got 60 frames per second. But guess what? Microsoft could do the same thing. Oh, let's just update Gears 5 and put a... But you know what's funny? Those games already have it. There's no reason for them to update something when their games have already been updated entirely for free. You guys want to sit there and talk about how PlayStation 5 got more 120 and 60 frames per second games than Xbox, and that is not inherently true. Sea of Thieves, 4K 120. Gears 5, 4K 60 campaign, 4K 120. Free updates. Forza Horizon, 4K 120 frames per second. The first thing these ponies are going to say to argue that, well, they own games. What do you think Until Dawn is? What do you think Horizon Zero Dawn is? What do you think these old games are? So I'm not sitting there saying that to attack the PlayStation audience. All I want you guys to do is understand that we could do the same thing on Xbox too. Halo Infinite, 4K 120. PlayStation ain't got no game at 4K 120 that they own. Y'all know this, man. Cut it out, bruh.
Had 60 frame options. Then when the PS4 Pro came out, Xbox One X, we still barely got those options. What was the
Nah, the One X was actually a real enhancement. Now, I don't know about the Pro. The Pro was garbage. But the One X, and this is coming from a person that has experienced it, there was actually a significant improvement on a lot of those games. And what's even more crazy about the One X was enhancing a lot of current generation games. This is something that the Pro's not doing.
Well, if you really cared about 60 frame options, you go to PC. But now with this gen, consoles providing 60 frame options.
Yeah, 60 frame per second options on games that you've already played last generation. How come you people are avoiding that fact?
So I don't think the answer is to run away from the platform. It's to tell the
So what does PC offer now that the console doesn't offer?
These people, I'm telling you, they're holding gaming back, man. Everybody in this podcast right here that's talking about 60 FPS, you guys are single-handedly destroying video gaming, and this is why Sony will cease to exist in the inevitable future, because you guys clearly don't see what these consoles has always been about. They've always been capped at 30. I don't care. Oh, go ahead, bring up a few examples of the PlayStation 1 or 2, which happens to be racist fighting games. We already know low demanding titles. Go ahead, bring those games up. Because at the end of the day, when gaming went 3D, it was always capped at 30. N64 was capped at 20 and still dipping. PS1 capped at 30. Saturn capped at 30. Okay? The only a few exceptions were racers, fighters, and low demanding titles. That is it. PS2, enough said, 30 FPS for a lot of those games. Original Xbox, 30. Even GameCube, 30. Y'all know this, man. Stop the cap.
Let me finish with the PS4 6. So I think that's
PS3 was nothing but a 30 frames per second box. And frame drops. Like, seriously, bro. Like, what do you people don't understand? Even PS4 was 30. The only time we started talking about 60 was with the PS5 and the Series X, mostly the PS5, because you guys are playing last generation games. This is what people are trying to tell you.
First aspect, right? High fidelity graphics, ultra settings, stabilized 60
You really think you're going to get that out of a PlayStation 5?
You know, stuff like that. Improve the PSSR so you get much better image quality.
This is it.
That's easy. I think that's the easy answer, right? And I
think how is it easy? The PS5 is not powerful to run the resolution at ultra settings.
That's always going to happen, right?
Not even the Pro is capable of doing that.
Go for the higher fidelity graphics, next level ultra graphics.
Yeah, can we see some next level ultra graphics on games that happen to be on Unreal Engine 5? Can we see some ultra graphical settings on some games that don't happen to be a remaster and a remake? You know, low demanding last generation games?
I think the second part is the DualSense controller, DualSense Edge 2.
Nobody cares about that. I'm sorry. Nobody cares about no controller. This is crazy.
Less. You know what I'm saying?
That
cycle is killing us.
That is something, I'll be honest.
The PS4 generation is still going on.
Right. I don't think a hardware manufacturer can dictate that.
I don't care what you people have to say. I'm going to chime in and say what I got to say because you people speak nothing but no substance. Okay? You guys are starting to see the rudiments of console gaming dying right before your very own faces. The PS4 generation is not over. Yes, Microsoft abandoned the Xbox One in favor of their series, but the PlayStation is well aware that the PS4 generation is what's keeping them afloat. The PS5 single-handedly is not saving PlayStation. It's the combination between PS4 and PS5 that's helping Sony as well as the PC. So they have these multiple devices where they feel like they can sucker money out of people that want to go out there and buy their games. This is what's happening. Sony's already slowly trying to trickle into this PlayStation application that I've been trying to tell you guys about by requiring PC gamers, even for Zero Horizon Dawn, to put a PlayStation account. This is something they wanted. They used Helldivers 2, you know, this multiplayer game to get your PC gamers glued, and you guys said, no, I'm not doing that. That's probably why it explains why that game that came out on PC pretty recently, which happened to be a PlayStation exclusive, did not do well. Because PC gamers, I will say, they do have more of some of a backbone. You know, they were the reasons why physical media left their platform. But hey, you know, you guys got to stand for something or you're going to lose everything. This is what consoles have become. You guys are talking about, well, a lot of people can't figure out. Well, that's funny considering that if I want to upgrade my PS5 SSD, I got to open it anyway. No different than a PC, right? I mean, you want to sit there and call yourself a console dummy, but then you don't even like Xbox when Xbox just gives you a little memory card and you put it in the back. But yet, for some reason, a console dummy can figure out opening a PS5 Pro, putting their own SSD. Now, all of a sudden, you guys know how to look at YouTube videos to do something when PC gamers tell you could do the same exact thing for their platform? Bro, I'm not buying this, bro. And at the end of the day, and I'm going to sit here and stand on this, once physical media is completely gone, which we already know is happening, sorry, guys, sorry to hurt your feelings, but that is the future of gaming, I'm no longer buying a console. I still stay on consoles because they offer physical media. Because people's like, oh, Gabe, you always complain about these consoles, this, and that. Why you don't go to PC? I just told you, physical media. I want to be able to take my old catalog of games and still continue to play them on the future devices. Physical media. You take that away and in ownership of my games. Once you take that away from a console is nothing. A console is hollow. There's no point. All that money that you're investing is for no reason. You can't even carry your progress. You guys want to talk about PC not having exclusives, but PC has way more games than you, so much so that they even got Xbox and not even got yours too. So what do you people complain about, bro? PC gaming is the ultimate platform and will still continue to be the ultimate platform because this is the way Sony sees it. This is why Sony and Microsoft are shifting their gaming division is more to a service than actual games themselves. Microsoft is promoting these games. You guys say that Starfield Shattered Space failed or whatever. It doesn't matter if it failed because if people didn't play it, they still subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate. They still made that money. And that's what you're not understanding. These companies are making money. So yes, people might say, I don't know for sure. Like I said, I didn't do the research or whatever. But if it did flop or whatever the case is, or if it's not have a concurrent amount of players playing it, well, it doesn't matter. The game came out. For the people that enjoyed it, they played it. If the game didn't get that, algorithm of players to play the game, then that's fine. Microsoft still made it, was it $20 a month? They still made their money. See, that's what you people don't understand. They made their money even if you didn't buy the game. Now, the difference between Concord, if you didn't buy the game, Sony got no money. They still get money through the subscriptions. They still do. And that's why I was kind of bothered as to why they shut the game online. Because, I mean, at that point, I know Sony, you wasted a lot of money, but you still should have kept the game online because people still pay through their subscription service. There was no reason to cut that because you're still getting that money back anyways. But hey, you know what I mean? To each their own. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. Like I said, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And we got ponies. They're really thinking. They talk about the PlayStation 6, and they believe that the PS6 is going to be 120 frames now. Bro, you get off the pony dust, please.